Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Storyteller's Corner. I'm your host, Joshua T. Calkins Truergy, also known as Byron of Sidious. I'm making this video, hopefully it'll be brief, and I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube and my Rumble and on my Twitter /X. I am facing a bit of a ethical moral quandary. I do a lot of bookish things, as you know, if you know me, and there's not many of you who know me. I've always been a small timer, not a very well-known person, but I spend a great deal of my focus on books and bookish things, literature, genre fiction especially. And I do the occasional read and review. And I would love to do more indie books, more indie works for review. I used to do quite a bit more than I've done in the last couple of years, but I got a little burned out because most of the material I was getting from indie authors was terrible. And I know that there is quality out there in the indie scene. And somebody recommended I give this indie book that I'm currently trying to work my way through a chance, because it was written and published by a relatively well-known YouTuber. And I am struggling because it is terrible. It is just awful. I'm 11 pages into the book itself, and I already have 7.5 pages in my little reviews and notation notebook for this piece of work, for this particular novel. I have 15 individuated notes. 3 of them are positive. 2 of those positive notes are half and halves, where there's a partial positive credit and a partial negative credit for the note. But even if we count those as an entirely positive, that's 3 out of 15 notes thus far, 11 pages in, or reduce it down 1/5, or 20% of the notes so far lean in a positive direction at all. The remainder is just tearing it apart. There's already a plethora of channels and videos on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, X, Truth, whatever. All the media sharing sites and services out there that spend a great deal of time lambasting current available entertainment options, be it video games, movies, television, and film, what have you, comic books, run the gamut. And I don't want to be one of those people who just shits on everything. I love books. I love genre fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, horror. That's my bag. That's my holy triumvirate. And I don't want to spend a great deal of time focusing on crapping on something and tearing it apart. I don't want to be that guy. I also don't want to waste my time on a book that I don't suspect is going to get any better moving forward. I am 11 pages in. This thing is 116 pages. I'm only 11 pages in, and I'm ready to take Tylenol in order to suffer through reading more of it. But I made a promise that I would give it a fair chance. What is fair in this instance? I promised I would give the book a chance, that I would be as thorough as possible. But I put myself in a hell of a trap and a hell of a bind there, because I said I would give it as much of a chance as possible. Given the broadest interpretation of that, I should suffer through reading the rest of this piece of work. I should give it a chance, right? Go beyond 11 pages out of 116, 115, 116. I'm only 10% of the way into the book. Maybe it'll get better, right? But how many people who spend good hard-earned money on a book are going to give it more than 10% to prove its worth? Not many people, unless they're like me and they're brain damaged. But I'm in a bind. I promised I would give it a fair chance. What is fair in this instance? Am I being fair to the author if I don't actually read the entirety of the work before submitting my notes and analysis and review? Am I being fair to myself by suffering through this amateur hour offering? I don't know. I have a tendency towards self-sacrifice, and I should, by rights, I made a promise that I would read this thing and analyze it for a review, because I genuinely believed, because it was recommended to me by someone whose tastes and opinion I trust, I figured, okay, I'll probably enjoy this. Boy, howdy, have I been wrong so far. Am I violating the trust that I put into that associate, that acquaintance, that colleague? Am I violating the author's expectations, particularly given this was this guy's first stab at a written piece of work? This was his first endeavor in writing genre fiction. I really should give him a lot more grace and leeway, right? Or am I being too soft on him? Particularly given this guy's never going to give a right tin shit what I have to say about it anyway. I'm a nobody. This guy has hundreds of thousands of viewers. I'm confused. I'll admit, I don't know what to do. I have a reputation, not much of one, but my reputation is really all I've got when it comes to anything online. And part of that reputation is I am thorough. I am thorough in the pursuit and the promotion of quality genre fiction. This is not quality genre fiction. But I also want to be fair. The question I'm struggling with right now is, who do I have a greater obligation to be fair to? The author of this work and our mutual acquaintance who recommended it to me, or myself? I don't like that because that just sounds selfish. I made a promise that I would give this book a fair chance. I doomed myself by utilizing vague language in making this promise. I don't know what to do, and I'm willing to admit that. So I'm going to ask you, folks, given what I have presented here, what would you do? Thanks.